Tell me a company secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore.
I got a lot. I'm going to tell you about them, but I'm not going to say the names because you can still get sued. People that are stitching this know that you can still get sued, okay? I was an envelope machine adjuster, okay? The people that worked in the factory that chewed chewing tobacco would spit their chew spit in the glue buckets. That glue went on your envelopes. That's what you lick to seal your envelopes. Off-brand, no-name bacon is the same as the name-brand bacon. It just doesn't look as pretty in the package, or it has a little bit of higher fat content. If you go to eat somewhere that makes sandwiches, like fast food-wise, possibly 12 inches, there's mold in the ice machine. And if you work there and you say there's not mold, you have another problem. It's lime scale. Those big signs, like the big gas station signs, those poles, only have a 2-year warranty. I've seen the bases bust off of them before they even left the shop. I've been offered a lot of money to do structural welding and use my certs and say that other people's welds are my welds because they're not certified. You're probably not going to want to get in any of those scissor man lifts at all.
Media company in the world. Let's call them Smook or Weta. But I worked in the advertising operations, and yes, they are listening.
Tell me a company secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore.
I have a lot. As an Abercrombie manager, we couldn't hire people who didn't meet a certain look standard. And if we did, they had to go in the back, and they were called impact workers. At Kate Spade, anytime a bag was damaged, even if it was the smallest thing, we had to go in the back and rip it up with an X-Acto knife. At Lululemon, sometimes they mark down items just because it's the last one left. So check out the clearance section. It's not always old stuff. Sometimes it's just because we only had one left.
A secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore.
Okay, I think the coast is clear. I used to work for Costco, and a lot of people don't know that they make almost all of their pastries and breads and cakes and pies in-house. And I would open up in the morning and have to go in there. And I know everybody's perception of the company is, oh, they treat their employees so well, everybody loves Costco, yeah. Just don't know what it's like to have to go in early in the morning, open up the store, and be trapped inside that building with all those yummy smells, and you can't eat any of it. You smell all them fresh baked breads, cakes, cookies. It's hard because you can't eat any.
Tell me a company secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore.
So I worked for a designer handbag store roughly about 11 years, on and off between part-time and full-time. And this handbag store can be found at most outlets and factory areas in the US, in most cities and towns. When you go into the store, everything in the front of the store is made for factory. It is not made the same way. It does not use the same leather as the full price store. If you are looking for items you may have seen in the full price store or on the full price website, head straight to the back. Those bags are the ones that actually come to get transferred from the full price store when they are discontinued. That's where you'll find them.
Tell me a company secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore.
I used to work at Bass Pro Shops, and you know those giant like fish tanks full of fish that you always see there? Well, a lot of them have endangered species of fish in them, which means if you jump into them, you're potentially harming an endangered species. So the fine of jumping in one of those fish tanks is upwards of $35,000. Yeah, one year on Black Friday, we had 4 people jump in. One of them got away, 3 of them didn't. 2 of them were boys under the age of 18 from the same family. Yeah, that's like $70,000.
Tell me a company secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore.
When you order steak or prime rib from Denny's and they ask you how you want it cooked, that determines how long the cook will cook it in the microwave for you.
Tell me a company secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore. I'll start. I used to work at Victoria's Secret. If you like the semi-annual sale, buy whatever you want and then go back in 14 days and you can price adjust. They will let you do it or they're supposed to. They don't like it, but if you're nice, you can at least buy that much additional stuff now that everything's half off. Tell me a company secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore.
I used to work for a major manufacturing company. Everyone knows the name if I told you what it was. We made everything from tape to pharmaceutical manufacturing equipment. In our marketing space, we had a free area where products that we as employees, or in my case, I was a contractor, could bring home for free, no questions asked. A lot of the stuff was used for marketing photography, at which point we couldn't sell it. One day, someone dropped off a giant clear trash bin bag full of very nice yellow and green sponges. Might help you know what brand I'm talking about here. These sponges, I grabbed probably, 10 or 15 of them. I mean, we're talking about a bag that had hundreds in the thing. I came home and started using them. These sponges did not get stinky. Each one lasted me a minimum of 6 months. I ended up giving a bunch to my mother. And they just held up far better than everything else on the market. That would have been several years ago now. They were never introduced. They were never sold to the public. They were never branded, packaged, anything like that. They disappeared into the ether. And I'm going to guess it was probably because they lasted too long and were a bit too good for the world.
Tell me a company secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore.
So I used to work where they make diapers at. Not going to say a specific brand, but it's a very big brand. And inside the diapers, the part that soaks up the pee and the liquid is a mixture of a cotton-like material that comes in these big bale stacks and a super soaker material. And it's pretty much like giant bags of beads or dust or however you want to, and it forms up like snow when it gets wet. That material is actually a cancerogen to the point that in order to clean it up, we had to be respirator fit tested and wear a respirator. And I'm not talking about the little mask. I'm talking about the whole shebang with where you go to the doctor and they make sure it fits your face and they test everything because the material they're putting in diapers causes cancer.
Tell me a company secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore.
So I worked at this HR technology company that recruiters use, and the first screening of a job application is usually done by AI, and it captures tokens, keywords related to the job. So if you're applying for a sales job, it's looking for selling, sales, business development, things like that. So if you fill up the white space of your resume with all of these tokens in white font, so it's not seen on your actual resume, it'll likely get picked up by the AI wave of the technology for your application, because it's finding more keywords and it's giving you a better ranking. Boop.
Tell me a company secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore.
I used to work at Apple. I was a genius for 8 years. Let's do it. When you bring in your device for an appointment at an Apple store, if you get a good technician, within the first few minutes, sometimes less, of the appointment, we know what to do. We know how to fix it. We don't need your, albeit fake sob stories. The liquid indicators inside of Apple devices only trigger when they have been exposed to submerged in liquid. They trip from the underside. Slight graze of water, not going to do it. Being in a steamy bathroom during a shower, not going to do it. I could probably do more. Should I do more?
A company secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore.
I used to work for a very large chain bookstore that's very litigious, so we won't name them. Sheds and Royals, we'll call them. And they get those big comfy chairs that they have in the building steam cleaned twice a year or so. I came in one day and was watching the guy do it, and like all this stuff was coming out of the chair as he was using this machine, and I thought it was a chemical. And I said, "That's pretty funky looking, man. What's going on here?" And he's like, "Oh, that's urine." Pardon me? He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Anytime you like go to a public place and they have all these like fabric chairs and stuff," he's like, "don't sit in them because they're usually full of piss." So that's a thing.
Tell me a company secret that you can share because you don't work there anymore.
Pretty sure it's common knowledge, just in case it's not. Anytime that you buy clothes from any kind of store, wash them as soon as you get home. Wash them in hot water. So when I was 16, I worked for a large clothing department store that has gone through bankruptcy multiple times, almost closed. That has the letters JCP in its name. And quite often people would pee and poop and clothes in the fitting room, and those clothes would go right back on the floor. So